If your business depends on you for every important decision, and if your team can't move forward without your approval, if taking 2 weeks off would create chaos, then you may have built something successful, but you haven't built something that's going to be sustainable. And that's the exact problem that I've been wrestling with, to be honest with you, for the last few years. The salesperson, the decision maker, the problem solver, that all feels really good until one day you realize that you've built yourself a little bit of a prison. And that's what led me to one of the most unexpected places imaginable here in Izmir, Turkey, an 8,500-year-old settlement here in Western Turkey. Think about that for a second. Long before Rome, long before Ephesus, long before any of the great civilizations that we usually think about. What's fascinating isn't that people lived here, it's that this place survived generation after generation. People built homes here, they raised families here, they worked here. When floods came or disaster struck, they rebuilt and they kept going. And standing here today, it made me think about something I've been wrestling with now for several months, for actually the last couple of years. As many of you know, I'm in the middle of a 12-month experiment. The goal's simple to say, but obviously very difficult to do. Replace myself. Not retire, not disappear, but build leaders, systems, and businesses that can thrive without me being involved in every decision. I've spent years building companies that depended on me. Now I'm trying to build companies that outlast me. And this ancient city, it has me wondering what actually makes something last. One thing is obvious, people who built their first homes here are long gone. Everyone who started this settlement disappeared thousands of years ago, yet the settlement continued. Why? Because knowledge was something that was passed down. Someone taught the next generation how to farm, how to build, how to survive. If all the knowledge just stays with the one person, everything dies when that person leaves. So that's true for an ancient village. It's true for a business. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is becoming indispensable. We wear that almost like a badge of honor. But if the company can't function without us, we've actually built something really fragile. I imagine nobody living here was talking about scaling. Their first priority was survival. It was about food, it was about shelter, it was about community. They were getting the fundamentals right first. And in my businesses, I've spent years chasing the fastest growth possible. Revenue goals, new projects, new opportunities. What I've learned is that growth without a foundation, it creates instability. The strongest businesses aren't the fastest growing necessarily. They're the ones that can survive setbacks, the ones that can withstand storms, just like this settlement did. Here's what strikes me the most. Nobody who lived here knew we'd be talking about them 8,500 years later. They weren't necessarily trying to leave a legacy. They were just doing the work that was right in front of them, raising families, teaching others, building something useful. And maybe that's what legacy actually is, building something that continues after you're gone. That becomes one of the biggest shifts in my thinking this year. Success isn't building a business that needs me. Success is building business leaders who don't. That's why I brought James into these companies. That's why we're documenting this process, because the real test isn't whether I can build something. The real test is whether it can continue without me. Somewhere beneath my feet are the remains of thousands of people whose names have been completely forgotten, yet the impact of their life, it remains. And I think that's a powerful question for all of us. What are we building? Something that depends entirely on us, or something that can continue when we're no longer in the room, no longer around? For me, that's the challenge of this season of my life. Learning to let go, learning to trust other people, learning that leadership isn't about being needed, it's about creating more leaders. This ancient settlement survived because it became bigger than any one person. And maybe that's the goal for our businesses, our families, our lives, and relationships as well. Thanks for joining me here in Turkey. I'll see you in the next episode as we continue the journey of building businesses that can stand on their own.